Hey y'all, it's your Missniecytv, and I'm here to do a review for Sistas Season 9, Episode 6. The episode picks up with Sabrina at the bank, and she's talking to Maurice about the whole rich situation and how she wants to do her, and Maurice is like, don't do that, the best way to get over one man is to get an extra one. And she's like, well, I'm gonna try to go on dating. And she starts talking about how she wants to go to a nice bar and meet a guy, and Maurice is like, you don't need to do that. What you need to do is rinse and repeat. You go meet one guy, you sleep with him, and then you let him out your house, and you go find another one. Sabrina's encouraging Maurice to teach her how to be a hoe, but what she needs to do is take time for her and to learn how to heal inside herself and learn herself. Because going out with these different men is not going to do anything but get your feelings hurt. Sabrina is the type to say that she won't catch feelings for these men that she's trying to date, even though I know she will. Then some time passes and Maurice brings a whiteboard into Sabrina's office and he's teaching her tips on how to be a hoe. She thinks she's learning something. Sabrina's really trying to soak up what Maurice is saying, and then Paige comes in and is like, what are you doing? Maurice is like, I'm teaching her how to be a hoe. Then Paige steps in and she gives Sabrina some tips and tricks. And Maurice and Sabrina are both like, Paige, I didn't know you were so insightful on knowing how to be a hoe. Maurice and Paige agree to help Sabrina go out to the bar tonight and find a date or find somebody to talk to. And Sabrina's like, why would I need your help? I'm good. Maurice is like, no, you actually do need our help. Over at the law firm, we see Andy on the phone and she's trying to call Robin, but Robin doesn't answer, so she leaves him a voicemail. She's basically like, I'm sorry I didn't return your call. A lot happened that night and I bet you don't want to hear about it, but I'm choosing myself because a lot happened. And I think it's best for me to not be in a relationship right now until I work on myself. It would have been better if you didn't leave him a voicemail at all, because why would he listen to that and think the two of you could be friends, knowing that he wants to be more than friends with you? After Andy leaves Robin that BS of a voicemail, she gets a call from Rhonda, and it happens to be the nurse that was helping Karen at the hospital during her delivery. Rhonda basically tells her, I don't want to be in no parts of this because of HIPAA laws, and I'm not supposed to be doing this, but what I can tell you is Dr. Cruz had a patient last night, and she bled out. And her name is Tisha Halston, and Tisha Halston happens to be one of Andy's law school classmates. This is another person that Andy knows personally that Dr. Cruz has did this to, so that of course she's going to go harder on Karen. We see Mr. Benson come into Andy's office and he wants her to do some work for him, but as he's talking to her, he realizes that something's wrong with Andy. So he's basically like, if you need to take personal days, it's okay. Andy's like, I'm fine. Andy goes on to tell him that her friend lost a baby at the hand of a doctor and she wants to bring up a lawsuit against him. And Mr. Benson like, who is it? She's like, Dr. Cruz. He's like, oh, I've heard that name before. What's his first name? She's like, Brett. He's like, oh, that's my golfing buddy. And as soon as he said that, Andy should have knew that he was not going to believe a word she was saying. Mr. Benson's like, he doesn't have a racist bone in his body. Andy pulls out a stack of papers, and she's like, it's not just my friend. It's countless of other women. He's like, I still don't believe you any more concrete evidence. And he's like, Andy, don't you think this is a conflict of interest since this is your friend? And this is the reason why you're going so hard? No. The reason why she's going so hard is because a lot of other women have gone through this and to be her friend. And you're sitting there covering up for it. People with that type of position and power and privilege, they don't care what other people do as long as they're not getting hurt or affected by this. They don't care about other people and how they're being treated, especially black people. Yeah, I need you to think about something. If he's willing to cover up for his racist friend, imagine what he thinks about black Karens. We see that Karen has finally made it out of her room and she's walking around like a zombie and Aaron's trying to talk to her and she's like, I don't want to talk, I need to cook. Karen's like, you don't need to cook anything, I'll go out and grab you something. Karen's like, no, I need to cook something. Aaron's still trying to talk to her, Karen don't want to talk. He's like, do I need to call your mom? Aaron tries to call and check on Karen and Aaron's like, call back tomorrow. Then he sits Karen down and he's like, I think it's best if you hold her. Aaron, she don't want nothing to do with that baby right now. Aaron's like, do you want me to call your mom? The next thing we know, we see Danny calling Karen to check on her and Aaron answers the phone and he's like, she's not doing too well, she's doing strange things, she's trying to cook. And he's basically like, Karen and cooking don't even go in the same sentence. I don't think she could even boil an egg, so if she tries to cook something, don't eat it because it's toxic. She does tell Aaron that she's going to call Andy and see if they could come together after work to talk to Karen. Aaron does let Karen know that he ordered some food for them and it should be there in a few minutes. Over at the airport, we see Leonard coming to bother Danny and he's basically like, I'm just making sure you don't have any coffee under your desk. Danny's like, I do have a stun gun though. Leonard says something along the lines of, I know you just don't like me, but it's on first sight when I see you now. Danny's like, it's actually on sight, but okay. Then we see Danny, and she finally calls Andy, and they're having a conversation about how Karen's doing strange things, and she's trying to cook. They both agree that Karen can't cook for nothing, because one time she tried to cook a chicken, and it was ashy. And Danny's like, so you want to go over there after work? Andy's like, yeah, we should bring her something to eat. Andy starts telling Danny about the whole situation that happened with Mr. Benson, and how Mr. Benson didn't believe a word that Andy was saying because Dr. Cruz is his golfing buddy. She also tells Danny about the situation that happened with the person that she knows from law school and how Dr. Cruz let her plead out. Then Danny starts asking about her settlement. Danny's like, so when am I get that settlement? Andy's like, it's a waiting period. You have to wait to see if they're going to appeal it. Danny's like, they could appeal it? Andy's like, yeah, but they're not going. Danny's like, well, I really need that money because I was out here spending my money. Andy's like, so what are you spending on? She's like, a 24-karat gold vape and some nipple ring. We're at Zach and Fatima's. Fatima calls Zach to see how he's doing, to see if he ate all his food. Zach tells her he didn't eat all his food. She's like, I figured that. She's like, how'd your conversation go with Danny? He's like, well, I got some wisdom and we cracked some jokes. I love that girl. Fatima's like, that's what you probably needed. He's like, I feel like I can't catch a break though. Every time something good happens, something bad happens, and I just anticipate it. Fatima's like, well, that's a part of life. A storm comes before you can get to the good days. Zach is like, well, tell me this. So, my friend getting kidnapped, me losing my baby, and us being suspects in a stabbing that we didn't have nothing to do with, that's part of life. Fatima's like, well, that's the cards that we were dealt with, and we just have to go with them, but we are definitely deserving of some good. She asks Zach what he's going to do for the day. He's like, I'm probably going to check on Michael and go to the gym. Fatima's like, well, that's good. You need to get out. Back over in Fatima's office, we see Hayden coming into her office trying to smooth out Fatima. He's like, I think I can help you with K-Dub's account. Fatima's like, what do I need you for? He's like, well, I know everything about him, and my specialty is tax. He's like, I think it would be a good look for you in the firm if you set up a good foundation for him. He's like, I could help with that. Fatima's still hesitant, and then she gets a call from the front desk saying that there's a Jazz dunk in there to see her use another basketball. Hayden's like, let me help you out. I promise I'll be professional. I promise I won't be overstep and be overbearing. Fatima's like, okay. And then she's like, Hayden, come here. Then she pulls his tie, and she's like, if you mess this up, I'll make sure nobody will be able to find you, and I mean it. Some time passes, and Maurice comes over to Sabrina's house with a bag of dresses, and he tells her to go try them on, because he has better options than Sabrina could ever have, because he sees the options that she has, and he's like, you're trying to dress like an old lady. We're trying to make you look like a hoe. After she tries on the options, she settles on this black dress with ruffles on it. I'm like, are you going to the prom or are you going to a bar? You look like you're going to a prom. But it's time to head out to the bar, and I wonder how this search of men is going to go for Sabrina, because Sabrina's very picky. Then we see Zach over at the gym, and he's working out, and some guy approaches him because he realizes that something's wrong with Zach, and he's trying to get Zach to talk, and Zach's not talking. He's like, so you're not really much of a talker, are you? Zach is like, no. Zach is basically like, life is whooping me right now. The guy is like, well, working out will definitely help. Zach is like, well, it's not doing too much of a good job right now. The guy is like, well, it doesn't hurt to have a listening ear either. I'm here for an hour if you ever want to talk. So the guy and Zach eventually wind up talking. We find out that his name is Keys. He lost his 3-year-old son to cancer, and his wife lost her job, and he's still trying to figure out how to deal with it. He gives Zach some good advice. He's like, after losing my son, I thought that was the worst thing that could ever happen to me, but life kept going, and bad stuff kept happening. He's like, I just had to keep pushing. Zach is like, how did you get through it? He's like, a lot of patience and prayer. I was praying and I was very patient. Zach is like, I understand what you're saying, but I don't see it that way right now. Keith is like, well, just take some time and use the wisdom that you have during these times and you will be okay. He's like, just take it one day at a time. God won't put more on you than you can bear, which is a very true statement. Then, at the end of the conversation, Keith gives Zach his number so that he could call him anytime he needs. Zach is like, thanks for the conversation. I gotta go do something. Over at Karen, some time passes and the food delivery has finally arrived, and Aaron tells her that he's gonna go get it, and then they eventually eat the food. They have a conversation. He's like, I need you to come back to me. I need you to come back to pay. As Aaron is cleaning up the dishes and Karen is listening to her voicemails, there's a knock on the door. Karen goes to open the door, and it's Zach. I know that Zach has come over to talk to Karen and see how she's doing and see how she's feeling. And I know they're going to get very vulnerable in this conversation. And I know that Zach doesn't mean any harm by the things that he's going to say and his vulnerability. But I don't want Karen to take that the wrong way and think that he's still in love with her. Karen's growth and maturity when it comes to her feelings for Zach has grown a lot. And I don't want her to take 100 steps back because of this situation. But let me know what you guys think about this episode. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your bell notifications. Bye.